Okay, Game of Thrones fans. The season 4 session that I just did, I've had some time to just look it over and think about it. And I also did a little bit of research. So I want to address one of the biggest things that irked me about that last episode, and that's the ambush on Daenerys by Euron Greyjoy. Eventually killing Rhaegal and capturing Missandei. Um, how did it happen? I was wondering, like, how does that ambush happen? I'm like, seriously, like, you mean Daenerys doesn't see it coming? Like, really? She doesn't see it coming at all? Like, I just didn't understand it. But the bigger question is, like, how did Euron Greyjoy know that they were going to be there? At what time? And the only real answer I can come up with is that the information was passed along by someone within Daenerys' inner circle. And there's already been so much discussion behind closed doors within Daenerys' inner circle, like Tyrion and Varys, about treason and is Jon the good choice, and then there's Sansa, who clearly doesn't want Daenerys to be on the throne. So it begs the question, like, who did what? And there's something that just peeked in the back of my mind, was that this reconnection of Tyrion and Sansa, and the way that Sansa is now is far different from what she was before, when she first knew Tyrion. And she, in a couple episodes before, she calls out Tyrion, and like, oh, I used to think you were a genius, or the most brilliant man. And there's been a lot of calling out Tyrion on whether or not he is clever or not. Like, oh, he is clever. No, I thought you were clever. And even I've caught myself saying, he's brilliant, but, he's got a soft spot. And that's going to be his undoing. He's romantic. But wouldn't it be interesting if this is all, built and architected by Tyrion? You remember at the end of last season, he had that something happened behind closed doors with Cersei for her to come back and say, "Hey, we're sending our armies." Sending our armies north, but she never did. She never had any intention to doing it, and all is making Tyrion look the fool. But Tyrion's not a fool. He can be foolhardy sometimes, but he is one of the most intelligent people in Westeros. And there's been a lot of times where it's just kind of shocking, like, how come Tyrion didn't see this coming, or this being played out, these losses that he's had against Daenerys. What if it was all by design? He made a deal with Cersei. I think he made a deal with Cersei, and that's why at the very end of that season, when Daenerys and Jon first hook up, you see Tyrion lurking in the background with that sort of worrisome look on his face. And it just it clicked for me that maybe Tyrion is the architect of not only Dany's downfall, but could be the architect of Jon's, and placing himself on the Iron Throne, maybe. He is a Lannister. And will he be the one to overthrow Cersei in the end? But ultimately being the greatest player of the Game of Thrones. It just kind of clicked for me. Him speaking warmly to Cersei to try and see peace and have a peaceful resolution at King's Landing. Him always driving for a peaceful resolution when, frankly, in the background, I mean, he's smart enough to know that there is no peaceful resolution. And I've fallen for it. So it really got my wheels turning here, that Tyrion is the ultimate traitor. But he could be the ultimate hero in the sense that he could be the one to take out Cersei. It could be his entire design and master plan to make it seem like he's being foolhardy, make him seem like he's being a romantic, and he's, making these mistakes, but it's all by design to force people to move on the chessboard to do what he needs them to do to get him in the position to complete his overall mission. The overall mission is it to plant himself on the Iron Throne? It's interesting. It's really interesting. It's got potential. I mean, we all love Tyrion, but wouldn't it make a great ending if it came out that he was the architect behind it all? All the killing, all the destruction, all the backstabbing being played by him. The smallest, most diminutive character in the entirety of Westeros, famous for being the imp, pulls the wool over of everyone's eyes. Wouldn't that be great? And also, wouldn't that be just heartbreaking? Oh, anyway, got my wheels turning. I had to put this out there. Let me know what you think, because I think maybe it's possible Tyrion is the ultimate player of Game of Thrones. Let me know what you think.